Now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Andrew Rosenberg, Chief Information Officer of Michigan Medicine, to say a few words to us.
Thanks, Charles. Hi, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful time. I wanted to help end this wonderful session with two stories, but before you do it, I wanted to first say thank you very much to Charles for helping to chair this year's Hack with Friends. One of the great things about working at the University of Michigan, we all tend to do much more than just what is our day job, and Charles has put in a lot of effort. There are also a couple other people. I feel like there's a lot of gain on this. Do you? Yeah, maybe we could turn that down just slightly. I'm almost whispering. There are also a couple of other people who tend to work in the background, and for those of you who've done a lot of the Michigan IT type events, the symposium, the communities of practice, the mentor program, and of course there's Joel Iverson, of course, and Kim Wooten. I don't know if Kim's here too, but these are people who literally put in a couple hundred hours for these events, so I really thank them very, very much. There are also a couple other people who you may not know did some extra efforts. There's Chris Eagle and Kim LeClaire. I know Chris is here, but they helped anonymize the parking data that some of you may have used. Scott Ammerman, Scott should be here, right? Who, with his team, helped to create the voting app. So again, these are examples of some of our folks who really have done a great job. And I don't want to miss out on their names, so I'm going to read off the names of the event committee. And one of the reasons why is that if there's one item that I've said in the past that I think is so important for these events is get to know each other. And so I just wanted to call out Tom Ammerman again, Chris Weisel, Joel Iverson, Sally Luoma, Joe Lubomirsky, otherwise known as Joe Lubo, Sherry Phillip, Chris Stockbridge, Nancy Herlocker, and Kenny Moore. I know that we've asked them to stand in the past, but would you mind standing one more time, please? These are our volunteers. We really appreciate your effort. Find them, get to know them. Thanks. So I just wanted to end with two very quick stories that I think are hopefully relevant. I'm not voting this year, so I can mention a few names of some people who actually are in the running, but in no way am I trying to sway the vote. Right now in the health system, we're doing an effort around high reliability. And if you don't know about it, there are a number of industries, particularly very high risk industries, nuclear energy, aviation, some aspects of the military. And much like those, healthcare has some areas that are extremely high risk. And this concept around high reliability has been going on for a while, but right now the health system, we're spending an enormous amount of time training each other, and working very, very diligently to be a high reliable organization for predominantly patient safety related items. But in the IT and informatics world, this also fits deeply with what we do around continuity, resiliency, reducing errors. And among the principles around it are, starting with just very personal and individual communication, reducing power differential so that people can feel very comfortable bringing up ideas, making sure that we're continuously, almost maniacally looking to reduce errors, and very, very, as much as we can, non-judgmentally, when errors occur, looking at root causes and improving, constantly improving. So with that concept in mind, two of our staff, John Walsh, Carol Lively, came up to me and they talked about something that they've actually talked to me about before, but they talked about DevOps. They talked about DevOps both, I would say, in the philosophical approach, oh, there you guys are, but also, more importantly, from a reliability point of view, from an HRO point of view, to point out how new ways that we, you all, can start to change some of our core basic IT procedures, whether it's software development or, in fact, even some of our infrastructure, in new ways. And one of the things that I liked about this discussion was not only is it important to them, their area, their staff, their work, which is, of course, true for all of you, but they can see how it applies to something that's mega important at the institutional level. how new ways of doing work also help that high reliability work that we're looking at. And I thought that was an extremely effective way to communicate the work that's important to each of you individually and to them and their teams, but how to attach it to these higher level items that we're working on. And so I say that because when I think of some of the themes for this year, sustainability, think about what's most important to Mark Schlissel, the executive officers, the regents, our community, the people of the state of Michigan, the parents of our students and our staff, and whatever lens you want to choose, sustainability is clearly one of the top important items for the president. And it's not just a personal whim on his part. There really are deep, meaningful, underlying things about that. On the other hand, think about parking. Right? I don't know anyone here who would not say, oh, parking's not a problem, other than those who I think commute into work in a variety of ways, and even then you're affected by parking. But these are complex problems. They're not simple problems. And that's where the diversity of this group comes in. Because as hopefully you know and you've hopefully learned through the University of Michigan as part of the DEI initiative, one of the points of diversity, equity, inclusion is complex problems can only really be solved by diversity of thought, approaches, and things like that. And so some of the themes that we're going to be seeing in some of the hacks get to these broader themes for the University of Michigan. So with those stories in mind, if there's one thing that I hope you've gotten out of this experience, and I've said it in the last few years, is that you've gotten to know a few other people you didn't know before. At the minimum, it's just friends. It's just fun. It's part of the community. And if that's all that you got, you succeeded. If in addition to that, you've actually made a few friends or colleagues that you can actually potentially do some work with, that's why we're at the University of Michigan. I'm asked frequently what makes our health system different. It's not the health system. You can find equally good health systems throughout the country, actually throughout the world. In a way, it's certainly not our medical school, very good medical school. That's not it either. And it's not our university. Arguably, there are other universities just as good, however you want to measure that. But find a university of our size and excellence with all the types of schools that we have at the level of excellence that we have it, in the degree of integration, both physically, from a business point of view, from a governance point of view, and it's extremely hard to find that anywhere in the world. And that's not just, go blue and we're always great. No, that really is, I think about this. So when you think about Hack with Friends and you think about the community, you think about IT Symposium, you think about the mentor program, you think about the communities of practices, you're really part of this incredibly cool ecosystem. So when we look at what you all have come up with, and when our judges vote on that, hopefully what you really take away are your friendships, your connections, and maybe even a few projects that you work on, or you introduce each other to other people, and that just continues to develop this community that's really part of Michigan IT. So hopefully you had a great time, and I'm going to end with one last thing. Our judges, Scott, Jeremy, and Kedra. Where are our judges? Okay, because I think you're going to come down. They're not all here yet?
Jeremy's here, the other two are not yet.
Okay, well, let the other judges know. Judges, judge well. Judge true. Because, please recognize, I hope I don't break it, I think I may have this. The golden hard drive is the most coveted accolade at the University of Michigan. More than the little brown jug, dare I say, more than the Rose Bowl Award, whatever that is.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a while.
There are some unbelievably important outcomes for your judging for this great award and those others. So I hope you had a great time. Thank you again for your efforts, and thanks for everyone involved in this very much.